In 1949, Tibet was occupied and annexed by China. In 1959, the Dalai Lama, the Tibetans' political and religious leader, crossed the Himalayas and set up a government and nation in exile in northern India. Since that time, refugees have continued to arrive, seeking to build another Tibet outside of the country's borders. Meanwhile, the Chinese government launched a campaign that would last until the 1980s. It attacked Tibetan culture and its religion, Buddhism, and persecuted its representatives, the monks and nuns. They in turn became the protagonists of the movement to free Tibet and the leaders of their people.
Chinese believe that Tibet was very much part of one big China, and therefore Tibet be ruled directly and Tibet being administered by the Han Chinese. While on the other side of the coin, the Tibetans, we believe historically Tibet had been independent and Tibet had been a separate country apart from China. So after the military intervention of China in 1949 and the fleeing of the Dalai Lama to India in 1959, the history has changed so much that the Dalai Lama has so far been in exile for last 40 years, fighting to solve the issue of Tibet, and the Chinese are ruling in Tibet. There were sections among the Tibetan community in exile who fight for the complete independence, who fight for the total sovereignty of Tibet, while as on other sides there were other schools like Dalai Lamas and his followers. We Tibetan could be a nationality among the greater Chinese people, and where the ideal situation would be Tibet and the Chinese, a neighbor, live side by side in a harmonious nature. That is the ideal solution for Tibet. Today in Tibet, the monks and nuns in the religious institutions have to accept the 5 points imposed by the Chinese officials in Tibet. They must agree to the historical unity of China and Tibet. Point 2, they must recognize Chinese appointed Panchen Lama. Point 3, they must deny Tibet ever would be independent.